Welcome. Today we're talking about how to find the volume of cones and cylinders. So when we're finding volume of cylinders and cones, you actually already have the strategies you need if you've been studying prisms and pyramids. So remember volume of a prism? We used volume equals the area of the base times height. Well, volume of a cylinder is exactly the same. It's just with a cylinder, we always know that the base is a circle, so that capital B, the area of the base, we're going to use pi r squared. And similarly, remember volume of a pyramid? We used volume equals the area of the base times height and then divided by 3. Well, volume of a cone is exactly the same. It's just that we're guaranteed to have a circular base, so that capital B, the area of the base, is pi r squared. We're going to do 3 examples. Example 1, let's find the volume of the cylinder with radius 4 centimeters and height 10 centimeters. We've got the picture there already. And remember, we can use our prism volume formula, but area of the base is pi r squared because the base of a cylinder is always a circle. Now our radius is 4 and our height is 10, so let's plug those numbers in. Then we'll start simplifying. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 10 is 160. So our exact answer would be 160 times pi. But if you go to your calculator and multiply that out, you should get 502.6548, which we, of course, will round to the nearest tenth for 502.7. Now, this is volume, which is cubic units. We basically have squared units from the area of the base, and then we bring in that third unit to make it cubic when we bring in the height. There's our final answer, 502.7 centimeters cubed. Example 2, let's find the volume of the cone that's shown below that has a height of 20 centimeters and a radius of 4.5. Now again, we're going to use that pyramid formula, but since this is a cone and our base is a circle, we can fill in pi r squared for that capital B. Now our radius is 4.5, height is 20, so we'll fill those in for r and h respectively. And we start simplifying. 4.5 squared times 20 gives us 405, but then when we divide by 3, we get 135. So our exact answer would be 135 times pi. We go to the calculator, we find that that works out to be 424.115008. Of course, there's lots more decimals after that, but let's go ahead and round it to the nearest tenth, 424.1. Throw our units on there, and there's our final answer. One more example. Let's find the volume of this cone. Now, it is a volume of a cone, so I just left the formulas up there. It's the same formula. Our radius is 6, but the 10 that's up here, this is the slant height. This is the outside height that was helpful when we used surface area. We wanted that outside height because the surface area looks at the outside surfaces. Unfortunately for us, the h that we need is the inside height because volume is measuring how much it can hold inside. So we are going to have to solve for h using our good old friend Pythagorean theorem. Now I am going to go ahead and substitute in the letters that we're using for our cone into this. So our 2 legs are the height and the radius, and then the hypotenuse is the slant height. So I'm filling in the h, the r, and the s just so that it matches the actual letters that we're using in our problem. So let's substitute in the numbers that we know. The radius is 6 and the slant height is 10. We'll square both of those. 6 squared is 36, 10 squared is 100. If we subtract 36 from both sides, we get h squared equals 64. And then, of course, we don't want h squared. We want the square root of h squared to get back to just regular old h. So h must equal 8. So the height of our cone is 8 now. So we can substitute our numbers into our original area formula that we're working with. The radius, of course, was 6, and we just solved for h being 8. And we'll start simplifying. 6 squared times 8 is 288. And we'll divide that by 3, so our exact answer would be 96 times pi. We'll go to the calculator since we, through this playlist, have been always rounding to the nearest tenth. So the decimal equivalent is 301.59289. Rounding to the nearest tenth, 301.6 cubic centimeters would be our final answer. So to summarize what we've done through this video, we used the volume of a prism formula on cylinders, so the area of the base times the height, and we used the volume of a pyramid formula on the cones. So the area of the base times height divided by 3. Just make sure, be careful, since we're finding an inside measurement, that volume where we fill the inside, you need the inside height. Don't get fooled by the slant height. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.